Let's go! LSU versus Alabama film study. I know it's going to be painful, but we're going to get through this together. At the end, I'm going to tell you why I truly do believe LSU lost this game. Also, probably the thing I disagree with the most ever said by Brian Kelly. Okay, so we get to this 3rd and 7, and I actually like this defense right here by LSU. So they eventually pick up a first down, but I like the fact that we're not letting Milroe just run wherever he wants to go. Here's Harold Perkins as a QB spy. And yes, you don't want this, right? That's a little too easy on 3rd and 7, but at least you're forcing Jalen Milroe to be an intermediate thrower of the football. You're not giving up the deep stuff, which he has been known for. One final thing, we're not really ready at the snap, and the funny thing about it is Greg Penn is the guy who ends up blitzing. Okay, so it's a delayed blitz. We're bringing Perk around as a spy. You're going to see this mistake made all night by LSU when it comes to rushing the passer. Okay, one thing we don't want to do. Okay, and Cordell Flott as a true freshman actually made this mistake on the road versus Alabama. You don't want to just run yourself past the quarterback. Milroe loves it when you do that, because when you do that, you're taking yourself out of the play. All right, so here we go. It's 3rd and 6, and obviously LSU, the worst third down defense in the SEC, and probably the worst third down defense in the country. This was by far their best rep of the night, okay? And we're going to break it down level by level, and we actually did a halftime show asking Matt House to continue to do this. Very exotic look. Only one person in a three-point stance. We have 3 two-pointers at the line of scrimmage and 2 backers showing a double-A gap look. Okay? One of my favorite things I see DCs do is show a double-A gap look, back out of it, but you still end up doing exotic stuff up front. Okay? So these two back out, and let's actually start with the left side of this play, and then we'll go to Harold Perkins here. Okay? So these two guys back out, like we just said, and we are running a twist. So Mason Smith's job is to go through this A-gap. Ovia Gufu is supposed to replace Braden Swinson as a contained guy, and Swinson's supposed to come around. Okay? Now, this actually ends up getting picked up by Alabama. Okay? It's still not the cleanest, though. This right guard is grabbing air. Swinson's able to come around. 52 does a good job eventually getting off of this. But you'll notice Swinson does a good job making 52 with, and now we get what we want, okay? Anytime we get a gap right up the gut pressure, there's nothing you can really do as a quarterback. You can't really escape out of this if you're getting pressure up the middle, and this is really well done. Mason's holding his rush lane integrity. Agufu's holding his rush lane integrity, so he can't go out of here, can't go out of here. And guess what? He's got a check down right here for a first down. He can't throw it because you got all this pressure right up the middle, okay? And it probably wouldn't have been a first, right? We have Major Burns right there. Still, we now get to Harold Perkins. And the reason why I want you to really focus on this rep is that I'm going to show you continuously he started making the mistake of running past the quarterback, okay? Truth be told, you never want to lose contained to Jalen Milroe. But also what Milroe does a good job of, and you'll see it throughout, is stepping up into it and then running. Okay? The way you prevent that is when you get even with the quarterback, stop. Okay? And Perkins had a tendency to just run himself out of plays. Notice he gets even, stops. So if Milroe wanted to tuck and run this way, he wouldn't be able to because Perk could just go right here. If he wanted to go out this way, he wouldn't be able to because Perk is right there. So you want to actually play this square and force Milroe to make a throw from here. And obviously, because we're getting some good rush here, Perk is able to finally disengage once he sees that he could for sure catch Milroe, and we're able to get a sack, right? That's how it's supposed to look. You can't do it any better than that. The only issue is we didn't have another rep like this the entire rest of the night. Alrighty, so we get the football, and when you take a look at this rep, you're like, okay, our middle of the offensive line is going to have a really good day, and just our offensive line in general. Okay, so 2nd and 3, God, this is just really good. We get a double right here from Deli and Will, and this is a really good block right here by Mason. And look at this push we're getting on the 2nd and 3. It's not like the cleanest, best push, but we displaced them off the line of scrimmage. And all we need Logan to do is just bang it up in there. And that's exactly what he does. Just not a whole lot of this after this first drive. When you're on the road in Tuscaloosa, you're just not going to get the calls, and you're just not going to get the calls in general when you go on the road, okay? Obviously, not the best twist pickup. It's not the worst, right? Still, Jayden sits in this pocket and throws a dart to Malik Neighbors. The DB was early, no pass interference. You'll see right here, it's pretty clear the DB is early, okay? That's PI. They're just not going to call that. So we get to the 2nd and 4. Love this look at a pistol, and we're just getting Josh the football right here. And once again, this was a tough night for Charles Turner. Really tough. Major whiff right here on this backer. Just a total whiff job. But lucky enough, Miles Frazier is able to pick it up. Okay? Now we need Charles to get on his feet and find someone. He does a good job just getting back into the play and finishing this play. That's really good by Charles. Getting beat initially, but getting Josh some space to run through. Good job by Miles Frazier making that happen, and we get a first. And this is just what Mike Denbrock's been doing all season long, just out-scheming people, right? Pre-snap motion, that's what we want to do, okay? Safety jumps into the box, so now Jayden knows that it's one-on-one versus Malik and a safety right here. And look, this safety is all the way over here, so Jayden knows that there's no way this safety is getting over the top of this. And look, if you're Brian Kelly, everything is going perfectly, okay? You do the right thing and defer the football to the second half. We'll get to that in just a second, right? We did a live stream on Thursday night. We said if anything Brian Kelly does, just defer to the second half, and he does just that. Alabama's a terrible first drive team. They punt the football. All right, so the first thing I really love about this is the protection, okay? Going into this game, we said, we are going to trust you versus Alabama's really freaking good pass rushers, and that is as dominant of a rep as you're going to see in a one-on-one situation versus Alabama's really good players, okay? So you get all this, and look at this pocket. Excellent stuff, all right? Second thing, all right? Once again, this is pretty clear. I will say that this snap was a little low. Jayden had to squat down for a lot of snaps. That can disrupt timing. Still, it's not the worst snap right there. Next thing, this should be thrown every single time, okay? And Jayden knows this. This wasn't even really that much of a move by Malik. He just sprinted right past Moore. He's a really, really good football player and had a really good game overall. And Malik beat him so bad that the ball was slightly behind him. Still, really good throw by Jayden. All right, so sometimes a college football game could come down to a guy who is very elite just has a bad game. And it wasn't just Harold Perkins, okay? I'm going to share with you someone at the end who, tough night for him, and he is a legend, okay? So, we actually had this defended pretty well. It may not seem like it, but this is honestly not bad. This is a pretty elite play design. You're pulling both of these players here to the left, so that's going to hold these backers. They're going to think that this is a run to the left, but instead it's a kind of split zone-ish, not split zone, but a running back going out into the flats, and this is probably their fastest playmaker, Kendrick Law, who's from Shreveport. We still have this defended well, okay? This is a flood concept. Vertical route is picked up right here by Sage Ryan, and then Harold Perkins does a good job disrupting the timing of this. So this has to get picked up by, a safety who's off the screen. But Milroe elects to go right here to Kendrick Law. And we have it defended. We have our best five-star athlete going up against one of their best athletes. Okay, I can't tell you how many times I've seen Harold Perkins this season make this tackle. He just flies in and just takes his legs out or just makes any kind of tackle. And Harold Perkins just takes an absolutely terrible angle. And Kendrick Law, that wasn't, any kind of special juke. We whiff him pretty clean, and he's able to pick up a huge gain. Good job by Andre Sam eventually making that play. But, Perk's just got to make that play. I mean, it's just that simple. All right, 2nd and 6. It's practically the same thing here, okay? If you're Matt House, you're twisting. I loved our twist game, okay? I thought we should have twisted more. First thing here, okay, before we start talking about the twist, is I don't know how many more times I'm going to say this, okay? We struggle having the same guy go through the same gap. And I understand when it's a pass rush move, it's different because, if you're Ovie Ogufu in this spot, you can go to the outside or to the inside. Mason Smith in his natural role as a 3-tech, the outside shoulder of the guard, he can go to the outside or the inside. The one thing you never want to happen is the same guy go through the same gap, and you'll see it right here. So Mason goes through the B gap, Ovie goes through the B gap. And this would have probably been a sack if Mason didn't go through this gap and if Ovie didn't go through this gap, right? If either or elected to do the other, it might be a stunt call, so it might be a blown assignment by either one of these two. Either way, if Mason elected to go through the A and Ovie went through the B, one of them, because they both beat their blocks pretty clean, one of them is making a sack right here. But notice they trip each other, and Ovie is right here ready to make this sack, and he got tripped because we were in the same gap. Okay, it happens way too much. Now, let's get to the twist game. I love the twist game because what a twist does is it gives you a second wave of pressure, right? It gives you a chance to read and react instead of just, and I'll show you a little bit later on 3rd and 10 in the second half. When you get this gives Jefferson a chance to read and react, and his job right here is to be the contained guy. So we don't want Milroe beating us to the outside. It's difficult, though, because he is a defensive tackle, and Milroe did rear back to pass. We want his arm to get up in the passing lane, and that forces Milroe to eat it. So he's just going to beat this contain because Ovie wasn't able to make the play because he got tripped by his own guy, and now Jefferson is getting beat. Still, we have everything covered here because Perk was a zone defender right here, okay? So he's right here, ready to make this play, all right? Milroe fakes like he's throwing. This is very difficult because, once again, you're thinking he's going to throw. If you're in this spot, you need to always just play the run. Don't try and play the throw because you're just not going to make the play. And you'll see Perk is right here. He is our best athlete. And he just misses him again. Okay, it's a very difficult play, but you'd like to see him make one of those two open field tackles. All right, so Tommy Reese here, just a very, very good play design. They got Tennessee on this. Go route here, a little corner right here, and this is just, a little flood concept. And all, Milroe has to do is throw this football to a wide open Prentice. He even could have hit his check down right here for a big gain. You don't want explosive pass plays like that. But with a great offense in LSU, I'm okay with it because it's not an explosive touchdown over the top. And Alabama this year had not been a good red zone team. So what happened here? Good play design by Tommy Reese, okay? This is a little crack block right here. This wide receiver comes in and holds this contained defender, okay? This tight end comes all the way around to take on Toviano. So whose fault was this? Well, first off, it's not good scheme because we've got all these guys committed to stop McClellan, but a true freshman corner here to stop Milroe, okay? So Toviano makes a huge mistake here. We want him to go to the inside instead of the outside, all right? So Toviano gets sealed way too easy, all right? We're just giving them the touchdown. Major Burns has no chance to run over and make this play. If you force him to go to the inside, Milroe's probably still scoring because, it's a one-on-one clean run versus Major Burns. But we don't want this, okay? Untouched, rush yard before contact. I mean, that's 22 rush yards before contact all the way in for an easy score, okay? 2nd and 10, once again, a low-ish snap, okay? very interesting play design. So we're pulling Will Campbell around here, and this is a quarterback little trap all the way. I love this design right here by Mike Denbrock. It's very unorthodox, right? But when you have a quarterback like Jayden who is so good at running, you can run all different kinds of things, right? And you can just see this DT right here was just kind of fooled by this play design, right? It's bizarre, right? You see, he's play side right here of Jayden, and he can't even see him, right? Good job by Charles right there. Good job by Deli. One of our better blocked run plays of the night, and that's just really good stuff by Jayden. Good blocking down the field by BTJ and Mason. And, Jayden, of course, makes a guy miss, and we pick up a huge gain right here on second. All right, so we move ahead to this 3rd and 12, and, love this. We're running 2 verticals, and then, it sets up an easy 4th down potential opportunity here. Just hit Mason Taylor underneath. He might actually pick up this 1st down. Ball is beautifully placed, and good job by Malik not making a crackback block right there. And I mean, tell me where this ball should have been spotted. Okay, let me see. Okay, he's in midair. Man, I guess that's a good spot. I don't know. That's always a difficult spot, right? All right, one final thing that I would bring up, okay? I do believe how you act on the sidelines and how you act in meeting room when you're not playing matters, right? I want you to take a look at 3 different true freshmen right here, okay? And I am a huge fan of 2 of these players, okay? This is a huge play, right? Absolutely huge, crazy play. And here's 2 true freshman receivers. Love both of these guys. I think they're going to be really good players. No jumping up and down that this is a 1st down. No trying to help him up. Nothing. But then you see another true freshman here, Jeremiah Hughes, who rarely plays. Look, he's signaling 1st down. He's in the game. He's ready for his opportunity. We get to this 4th and 1 call. Let's first discuss Brian Kelly's decision to go for it. It's a really good decision to go for it, right? We're in plus territory at the 41-yard line. It's not a whole lot to gain by punting here. The field goal is just way too long to try. So there you go. I don't mind running this play call either. The first thing here is the low snap, okay? On a rollout, timing is of the essence, right? You're cutting off half the field. So you've got to have a good snap because maybe Jayden is able to get this football off in a more timely manner, but that was a good play by 13. The ball was behind BTJ, but the timing of it is so important. Another small little thing, Malik does slip right here, and I think that could have potentially disrupted the timing on a little bit of a pick. You would normally kind of set here in this spot. Okay, so slipping has been an issue for Malik throughout his career, especially on the road. He's had footing issues. Still, huge play by 13. Give him a lot of credit. Now, I'm actually going to show you one final thing about this play, and I promise we're going to move on. But this is, you've heard me say this throughout film studies, and it feels like I'm beating a dead horse about our defensive players' lack of situational awareness. If this was LSU defensive backs, we would have sat back here and waited way too long to even break on this play. Alabama's DBs are smart. Their defense plays with really good football IQ, okay? They are able to eliminate a few different scenarios, okay? One thing Nick Saban probably told them in a meeting room, if the ball is on this hash, they're probably going to do some kind of rollout because that's what they got him with last year. The second thing, I want you to see the football IQ right here. Look at the communication, and it's pretty clear they're saying, hey, I'm sticking with 8. Your job is still to stick with 11 because sometimes 3 picks up 11, you pick up 8. Now, another thing these DBs are taught in this spot is if it's 4th and short or 3rd and short, the likelihood that we are running anything vertical, in particular on 4th down, is small, right? Because we're not going to try and run anything vertical when we only need 1 yard to gain. So 13 more is a smart player. Their defensive players play with such good football IQ. You see, he's driving on this football right here before BTJ is even breaking to the outside. You see, he sees it immediately. He's already driving down. I'm just saying, if this was Sage or any of our DBs, they're sitting back here thinking, waiting, and just way too late to react. We're not going vertical on 4th and 1, right? So it's just those little things, right? That's coaching, right? It's so important, and it's also just a personal player's responsibility to understanding time and place. Substitutions issues on this 3rd and 3, and I mean, we're just all out of sorts, and it's just a little quick pitch to the left. Once again, I think it's a minor win, though, because I prefer their running backs running than Milroe, okay? All things considered, I mean, we just did not defend this play, the worst, and they still pick up a first down. So, there you go. 2nd and 8, I love this defensive call. I really do, okay? Once again, getting exotic, and look at this play right here by Omar Speights. He just gets in and just blows this thing up. Bang! Okay? So, this isn't bad pressure, right? We're not letting him run anywhere. Everything's just covered. We're in our rush lanes. We're doing a good job of getting our hands, in the passing lane. This is an easy completion, though. But it's an even easier tackle. Major Burns has got to make this tackle. Okay? You just do. All right? No other way around it. His back is turned to you on a little stop. Bond's a good player. Huge missed tackle. To force him to potentially go for it on 3rd. All right? I know that sounds just harsh, but I don't want them getting beat over the top, and I want to force Alabama to convert in the red zone. This is just a ridiculous cross-field throw that Jalen Milroe is making. Our rush lanes are pretty much covered, and we're actually getting some pressure right here by Swinson. Let's see. Is this a hold right here? No, they did a good job, not tugging, even though he got beat right there. This is not bad. This is not bad when it comes to rush lane integrity. It's not great either, but still, this is a cross-field throw, and Sage Ryan has a chance to make a play here, and, this has just been the case of Sage Ryan's career. He's always close to making a play, but never really makes it, okay? Good throw, good catch. They make a good play on it. So Alabama does end up converting in the red zone, and it was on this 3rd and 1 tush push. I honestly think Jalen Milroe freelanced this, right? Obviously, on a tush push, this ball is supposed to just get vertical. Look, we got 4 guys committed to this A gap, but 1 guy committed to this BCD gap, if you will, okay? So you could see the reason why I think he freelances is because 26 is trying to push him this way, and Milroe actually goes out to the outside. That is just really good quarterback play right there on the sneak. And, once again, Milroe versus Sage Ryan to make a play. We know the answer to that at this point, okay? All right, here we go. 2nd and 5, and once again, a low snap, right? I don't know what it is, right? Marlon Martinez had snap issues versus Missouri. Now Charles Turner has snap issues versus Alabama. We need to reevaluate all our snap practices. We're obviously trying to hit something vertical, okay? So could Jayden hit this check down right here to Logan? He can, but Emory Jones had a really good pass rush rep, and here at the end, this is what I'm talking about, right? Rush lane integrity. He almost makes this play. Jayden actually tried to squeeze through this gap last year versus Bama, and he ran into a sack. This is just really good stuff by Jayden to get out of this. I'm shocked he got out of that one. But you shouldn't be, because he is a true magician with the football in his hands. And we get an absolutely huge running play right here on the 2nd and 5, right? We want Jayden taking those shots, especially if we're running deep stuff, down the field, and they're playing, deep coverages. We just want to take those yards. So now we get to the 2nd and 7. Really good snap this time. I'll take it. And everything is just covered, right? We have some vertical stuff, and as you can see, Alabama is just so far back. Maybe something's open. I don't know. This Chris Hilton drag wasn't open. There's some Bama players right here. So, obviously, Jayden, it's just nowhere for him to throw this football, so he's got to make something happen. Let's take a look at the protection yet again. It's honestly fine, right? They're rushing 3, dropping 8. 44 does eventually break through. So Jayden rolls out to the right side, and he eventually finds Malik Neighbors. Look at Jayden keeping his eyes down the field, and this was not an easy throw, and he fits it into a tight-ish window for a huge gain. All right, 3rd and 10, and this is just something that we struggled with last year versus Georgia, and we're struggling with here versus Alabama. These deep crossers are such good concepts, right? But if you have the athletes to stick with it in man coverage, and you just have such great coverage principles, obviously Nick Saban is, the father of the Rip Liz kind of things. The football film nerds could tell you more about that. I'm a film nerd, but there are plenty of people that are way smarter than me. And, they have just pretty much everything covered right here, okay? BTJ is getting guarded stride for stride right here, and it's tough, right? It's really, really, really tough. You would like to see in a perfect world, maybe if, we're able to sit in here and throw this football to BTJ. It looks like he does have a step, and there is no safety over the top of him running across here. So once again, an all-22 angle would have been nice. It's a longer developing play. Now, the next thing I would bring up about this is 3 is one of their best corners, one of their best DBs. But pre-snap, it is clear to see with this safety getting into the box, we have Malik Neighbors one-on-one on a slot fade here. Once again, the angle is cut off here. I'm fine with just throwing this almost every single time and just seeing if Malik can make a play on it. I'm fine with it. I'm also fine throwing this here, okay? Not a good rep by Jayden if you ask me. Once again, his legs are cooking in this game. The protection is really good, though, all right? We pick up this stunt. Everything is honestly kind of picked up right here, and Jayden has a chance to do something here. Throw this check down, make it a manageable 4th. Throw this deep crosser if you want to. One thing we can't do is take a sack, right? Because if you take a sack, it makes a longer field goal for a kicker who doesn't have the biggest leg. So this has to be thrown, all right? What we don't need to do is run directly into a sack. And Jayden kind of panics, and he actually kind of panicked on an early second quarter potential throw last year on a 3rd and 10 when he had guys open versus Alabama, and he just gets absolutely drilled. He just kind of ran into it and just took a big sack. So not a good rep right there by Jayden, one of his few rougher snaps. So as you can see, Ramos is a good kicker, not an elite kicker, right? His long on the season is 48 yards. This is a 47-yarder. Not a good night for LSU special teams. This has been a pretty good unit overall. And, yeah, I mean, Stapp is on the money, and this kick just did not have enough on it. There was no deflection. Snap looked good, and it just didn't have it. And Ramos has a leg. It's not an elite Cade York leg, but you can see he's very disappointed in himself. You'd like to see him make that one. You see BK not happy that a 48-yarder was missed, but that's why, you can't take those sacks. All right, 3rd and 8. I'm fine with this. This is Milroe just making a play. He only had 219 yards passing, okay? So KJ Jefferson had a conversion on us with this, right? Nothing was open, and eventually Arkansas's running back DeBinion was able to break off, and, he hit a little floater over the top. You just have to live with this when you play a dual-threat quarterback. There's no way you can really account for a leaking running back who was in protection for that long. Okay? He just floats it over there. Could we have hit him sooner? I mean, not really. Was Perk held there? Let's see. Yes. It's minor. It's very, very, very minor. Is that a hold right there? Let me see. Is that a jersey tug with his right hand? I'm not sure. But still, that's just a really special play. Now, why do I bring this up? Okay? Well, look. When Dallas Turner had an opportunity to lift our quarterback up in the air and drive him into the ground, he took it. We didn't take it because we don't want a penalty, right? We don't want to extend the drive, right? But, if we want to get into a debate, is it worth actually doing that just to give one pulverizing shot to their quarterback and maybe that alters his performance for the rest of the game? I don't know, okay? But I tend to not play dirty, okay? So Greg Penn doesn't actually drive him to the ground, which is smart. But maybe it is a smart move if you want to play that game. So still, huge gain. You don't like it. It's by far, their two biggest pass plays were to running backs. And you obviously don't want those things, but give, them credit for making a play. So now 3rd and 7, this worked, okay? Once again, this is what we did to Bryce Young in 2021. Get very exotic. Crowd the line of scrimmage. We don't have great individual pass rushers, so just get exotic. And that's what we do, okay? We actually do end up sending almost everyone here. And we actually get a little lucky that the guy we don't send is already out here waiting for the screen. And, this is a good play right here by Greg Penn. Good job by, Perk right here, creating some traffic. Still, Greg Penn is right here to make this play. This is really well scouted, and we get a huge tackle, and it was also for a loss of yardage to make it a tougher field goal. All right, Perk had a rough game, but he is so good at getting off the edge on a field goal kick. God, how close was he to blocking this? I mean, what's crazy is it's tough because of, the camera quality here, but the ball actually was missed to the right. So I am a little shocked that he didn't block it. Or was this ball actually kicked to the right of his diving body? Let me see. I don't know. I think it actually just went over the top of him. But Perk's going to get a block pretty soon. And, yeah, I mean, there might be something to Harold Perkins affecting kicks, right? Mevis had a terrible day, and he was at home versus us. He's an elite kicker. Bama's field goal kicker misses 2. So maybe Perk's in their head. All right, so we move ahead here. 2nd and 5. Good stuff right here by Jayden Daniels. Okay, if they're going to play off of us, let's just run stops. Okay, that's just very simple stuff. Let's give BTJ the ball, and we get a nice gain right here to move the chain. So this has been one of our best plays this year, right? Vertical, slower developing drag coming across the field. And because our protection's been really good, God, this is excellent stuff right here by Will. Okay, it's clear Dallas Turner's going to the inside. Good job by Garrett Dellinger filling that out. Dellinger is right here to pick this up. And the protection here is just immaculate. And, God, good stuff right here by John to give Charles some help. And this is one of the better pass block plays of the evening. Okay, so all Jayden knows is he just needs to give this drag some time to clear out from this backer. And Jayden throws right in stride to BTJ. Huge pickup right here. Getting our players, and look at Nick. Nick's like, hey, where's our coverage? And it's just a nice pickup right here to move the sticks. 3rd and 5, and we got to have it, okay? And, God, it's just a good play design, right? if they're going to play man coverage, it's motion Malik. It's a long way for 3 to run, okay? And that's just easy stuff, okay? Good throw by Jayden. Hits Malik right there. And now Malik is going to do some Malik things and just pick up this first. Good stuff. We get to this 1st and goal, and it's just a QB draw. And Jayden, of course, is, just doing the dang thing, right? The funny thing here is it was man coverage across the way. Okay, so no safety help. They have the maximum amount of people here to defend this, and it still doesn't matter. Mason, I thought, had a good game blocking overall. Jayden presses his hole like a good running back would do, and then he bounces it. That is so freaking good. Okay, and of course he's going to make 17 miss because he's Jayden motherfreaking Daniels, and he's into the end zone with a nice tutty. Good freaking stuff. I understand giving Toviano safety help over their best receiver. I get that. So what Alabama likes to do is run a variation of mesh, okay? And this is mesh rail. This is probably the most popular concept in the SEC, right? We don't run it as much as we used to, but Arkansas runs it. Obviously, Ole Miss runs it. And what's interesting is normally when it comes to a quarterback's progression on a play, the running back isn't the first progression, but on mesh rail, it is, right? So this is the first read, okay? And as Jalen Milroe sees this develop, he sees that Sage Ryan is bailing out with the vertical, as you would expect. He also sees that Greg Penn stayed in. So, by process of elimination, since Harold Perkins is at the line of scrimmage, okay, you see Harold's getting a little jam right here on one of their good players, Isaiah Bond. Is Harold Perkins' responsibility supposed to be Miller out of the backfield? I am guessing it is, okay? Maybe it's Greg Penn's job to guard the running back out of the backfield. I don't know, but, man, it just stinks because this is his first read, right? Milroe is a first-read quarterback. He's not a surveyor of the field, and we give up a 3rd down. Good thing it wasn't him running, but it is him making a first read to a running back. Either way, you see with us playing conservative here on this 3rd and 3, they're picking this up, throwing to him or Burton right here, who is sitting in this pocket of space. Just not good defense at all. And, man, Harold was close to getting it, just couldn't get it. And now we just got to run him down. Good hustle by Perk to stay with it. And, yeah, I mean, that is just a back breaker, okay? So, there you go. Still, it's 3rd and 11. Bama has struggled in the extended red zone. This area of the field and the red zone itself has not been a good, thing for them this year. Love the double A gap look right here from LSU. So we're bailing out of it. Once again, I prefer to run some kind of twist somewhere, but instead it's just a traditional pass rush right here from LSU. Once again, this is on Harold Perkins, okay? His only pass rush move is the ghost move. We never see him swim. We really don't ever see him do anything else. It's just a ghost move. And once again, remember earlier on that first sack he had, he stayed square and stayed here? The worst thing you can do is just run yourself out. Tennessee did this to Milroe, and Milroe made him pay more so through the air. But both of our ends rushed themselves out of the play. Okay? Now, I guess it's not as bad as, him beating, you with the contained to the outside. But, I kept seeing people say, well, the LSU defensive tackles didn't have a great day. They didn't really do a whole lot. But when your ends are rushing themselves out, look at all this space he has to run through. Milroe could have run for the first down here, could have run for the first down here. He even could have gone this way and run for the first down. Also, you got all these underneath checkdowns right here. I would have loved to have seen LSU get aggressive, run some kind of twist, but when you're not twisting or really bringing any second-level pressure or not having any QB spies, okay, Milroe knows when he sees all these people backing out right here, he only really needs to beat this first wave to run for a huge gain. Because if you're able to beat this first wave, guess what? These backers are back in coverage, and even though they're in zone, they're on their heels, right? We lose our feet right there. Got to keep your feet when you play Alabama, and that's just an easy first down with hardly any resistance, right? We're not getting a lick on him. He's able to get, straight out of bounds, and, only a shoelace was touched. Okay, this is bad again for Matt House, okay? We're showing this again, but you can't just show it every time and not actually bring someone. So we decide to get into a four-man rush again with Ovi right here. I would have liked to have seen us do something like we did versus Auburn. I don't know if I'm going to have time to get a screenshot here, but we had 5 men on the line and Ovi straight up over the center. That puts pressure on the center. You can get a bad snap. I don't think we really showed that at all. And once again, it's the same thing. Okay, we're making the same exact mistake. This has to get adjusted. It just does. Okay, what you don't want to do. All right, this is a better rush from Perk because he's got Proctor on his heels here. This is better, but we still rush past them, right? We've got to disengage and get back into this lane, okay? What I potentially would have done here, especially if I want my ends getting up the field, is have, Mason go right here and then have Ovi just kind of sit back here and be a spy, if you will. We did this some with Baskerville a few years ago in this game. And you see, it's just, you just got to beat this first wave. And you're going up against backers who have their heels back into coverage, okay? So now, guess what? Milroe could throw it here if he wants to. Okay, so Sage has to, play that. So Milroe fakes like he's throwing there to get Sage out of the play. And Greg Penn is not the fleetest of foot, okay? I don't know if Devin White is making this play because it's just so much space for a guy who runs a 4.4 to run through. But still, you would like to see some resistance. Greg barely grabs the back of the jersey, and he's walking in. Okay. We need a blow to be delivered here by Andre Sam or somebody, okay? Somebody's got to lick him, okay? I understand, he's basically in, and he is a tank, but let's not let him lollygag into the end zone. I don't like letting up there, okay? Give him a lick, but he's able to run in, and because they're able to methodically drive down the field, we only have a minute to work with. All right, so this is one of the best drives I've ever seen an LSU quarterback have, okay? 36 seconds left with 1 timeout remaining, okay? Our offensive line had a tough night. Overall, I mean, Will just could not deal with Dallas Turner this year. Love this pass rush move by Dallas. I mean, he's just putting so much pressure on him. You see a nice little juke to the left to make Will think that you could be going to the left, and that he immediately jolts out here to the right. And Will, once again, not the worst miss I've ever seen. And when Jayden is your quarterback, guess what? You're able to get huge scrambles here on 3rd and 9. I think part of why Denbrock is calling vertical stuff here is for Jayden to actually have a chance to run. Because if you run here, and let's just say you do get sacked, Bama does have to force to use one of their timeouts, and you still can pick up the yards to gain. And this is one of the best quarterback runs I've seen, okay? I want you to, okay, these are 2 5-stars, okay? Watch how Jayden just erases them with the speed. Okay, they're not even close. They're not even close. Okay, and this is a horse collar. If you're going to call Harold Perkins on the horse collar, okay, you've got to call Amos the UL transfer for a horse collar there. It wasn't whistled, and the reason why it's important is because Jayden's head slams on the turf. Okay, now this isn't the hit that, of course, knocked him out, but it's still of the illegal variety, and it slammed his head on the turf. Now, we get a penalty, so once again, Jayden has to overcome another penalty here. It's 1st and 15. He gets a man coverage indicator here, okay, with that linebacker running out of here with Logan. All right? The issue here is everything is kind of covered. This, honestly, is just a really nasty scheme from Nick, okay? and Kevin Steele. You're running verticals here, verticals here, verticals here. Now, what does LSU kill teams with? This shallow, delayed drag. So guess what Alabama likes to do? Bang. Okay, this backer immediately sees it right here going across, and this is where we want it to go with the football. It gets picked up. So we got a very exotic scheme. Take a look at these pass rush moves right here from Alabama. This is how it's supposed to look, okay, for rushing an elite dual threat quarterback. You've got to collapse this pocket and just stay, right? You can't get past him. You want him drifting back and back and back and back and back, okay? But because he's Jayden freaking Daniels, it really doesn't matter because he is absolutely ridiculous. Eventually, we're able to displace one of these defensive tackles, and Jayden does a really good job not running out here because Dallas will just get off here, not going out here because he'll just disengage here. Jayden is just patient, and then he takes this right up the gut, okay? Just unreal quarterback play, and that's how it's supposed to look, right? Now, even if you do it right, once again, if you have an elite dual threat quarterback, there's only so much you can do. And once again, it's just Jayden erasing the speed of another 5-star here, okay? It's so hard to deal with this. Now, if you're Aaron Anderson, you cannot make this block. It's a blindside block penalty. I do agree with the call here. Is it bang, bang? Yes. But in this situation, you've just got to let it go. You just do, okay? If not blocking the back, they could call blocking the back there. Just not a smart penalty in that spot, especially considering, the clock is running out. Okay, so Jayden has to overcome multiple penalties. The offensive line not doing the absolute best job of protecting. It wasn't bad protection, really, on any of the reps. And now we get this. Okay, it's breathtaking stuff. It really, really, really is. None of the routes really on any of these were open. Like, it's just really well covered. Okay, now this throw is stupid good, like unfreaking believably good, and a good run by Kyron to not fall on the ground, keeping his body up and getting into the end zone. All right, so absolutely absurd quarterback play. So this motion guy right here lets Jayden Daniels know that this is going to more than likely be some variation of zone coverage, right? So Kyron Lacy's running, essentially an in-breaker here, and Malik is going up the field. And Bama actually does a really good job of passing this off, okay? Now, Jayden's been killing them with their legs. So when you do that, it forces Bama to do this, okay? A rush 3, drop 8 situation with 2 QB spies. I would have liked to have seen us do this. So we can't run, and there's only 13 seconds left to go on the clock, okay? So this is really well done. The corner picks up Malik. This isn't open, okay? So now Jayden's like, okay, I got a safety going up against Kyron Lacy. Kyron gets thrown off his route. This is a really good job by Kyron taking this, this hit right here from this LB. And I want you to see when Jayden elects to throw this football. Okay, look at this. He's ripping it now, all right? And this safety sees him, right? The safety sees that this ball is getting thrown, but what does Jayden do? He protects Kyron with this throw and puts it on his upfield shoulder right here. Good job by Kyron stopping. Not a whole lot of receivers are catching this. This is not a good move right here to try and bat this down. You just want to tackle him in this situation because LSU is probably having to kick a field goal after this or spiking it, rushing to the field and spiking it. But because he misses his tackle, Kyron has to beat Caleb Downs, one of their best DBs, who's a true freshman, and he makes him miss. Good stuff. Elite throw, elite catch, and once again, an all-time great drive. LSU, and even last year, Jayden Daniels has always been good at end-of-half drives, in particular at the end of second quarters. Unbelievable stuff. Happy for Kyron. Look at the grill. Malik, I see you, big dog. What a game. from Malik Neighbors. We'll talk more about him here. Now, all right, so we get to this Hail Mary. I understand that they called a holding, and, we declined it, right, to just get into halftime. But still, we struggled getting off blocks. We struggled staying on our feet. And no matter what, you can't let him get to the outside. They did eventually call, a holding, so, that's okay. The arm flail did help. But in the spot, we don't even want to put this in the ref's hands, right? Kind of shocked Milroe didn't just throw this, just throw this up, right? Because you're obviously not scoring from there. But I guess Milroe said, look, I've been running for, all these yards. Maybe I could score from there. I don't know. I don't think Saban was too thrilled about not him throwing it, but still. All right, so we'll move ahead here on 3rd and 6. So obviously, Bama was better on 3rd down. They were 11 of 14 on 3rd down, and that is expectedly really backbreaking considering Nick Saban is not the most optimal 4th down decision maker. He even said that on the McAfee show. He's he said something not so smart about analytics, but that's a different story for a different day. We were 4 of 9 on 3rd down, and this is just really good stuff by Jayden. Okay, you want to give us Malik on just a quick little slant? Very shocked that it was that easy right here, but then again, it wouldn't be Malik Neighbors if he didn't make somebody miss, and he does just that right there. It's just so freaking good right there from one of the best LSU receivers of all time, right? It looks like we're trying to run a quick screen. Once again, tough night for Will, okay? Dallas Turner just kind of gets in this lane. I'm very glad Jayden did not throw this because this very well could have been a pick 6. And, oh, man, I want you to see this, okay? It's kind of an awkward get off right here by Will, okay? In the spot, when you're trying to run these quick little screens to the left, sometimes as a tackle, you get down low and you cut him, right, to take his arms out, and all you need him to do is just get cut quickly so he can get a quick throw out, okay? This is a huge missed block right here. It's just not that clean. Dallas Turner's able to keep his upfield shoulder, not Deli's best block either, and honestly, we've got blockers out here, and everything looked pretty well blocked, and once again, it's cut off, right? I think this is a big gainer right here. But good stuff by Jayden not throwing this because this would have been a pick 6 the other way. And guess what? Alabama gets exotic on this backside too. They're running a twist, and 96 beats Charles Turner and Emory Jones pretty easily, and the twister is not picked up at all. So Jayden decides to not throw this smart move, and he's got an unblocked edge guy. All right, so this is a faster backer player. He's coming right down your neck, pause. And now 96 has his upfield shoulder, and Jayden's got to beat him in a foot race to the outside. Once again, Jayden's speed just deletes pass rushers. 96 actually has a good angle here, and it just doesn't matter. It just does not matter. It's absolutely absurd, right? So as you can see, offensively, we did not play the cleanest game. It was just Jayden getting us out of situations. Once again, let's see some hypeness on the sideline. Why are we so stiff? Right? It was an absolutely absurd play. No flag. I mean, come on. I feel like we played timid. We had deer in the headlights. We didn't go in with that energy and that gusto, okay, that you need to pull off an upset. Now, Bama's like, F it. We're just going to bring everybody now, all right? And they decide to not bring everyone. They bring 5, and they have, this backer running with the running back. So Jayden sees this pretty well. Okay, it's single high coverage. It's Malik on a free release versus a guy he's already cooked. So guess what? The coverage is actually pretty good. 13 does a decent job staying on top of it. We pick up this blitz really well. One of our best pass protection reps. But then again, if Jayden is killing you with his legs, do you really want to get upfield at all? So with Charles Turner basically in Jayden's lap, look at where this ball ends up. On a line right there. Right in the blinds. Oh, yeah, you got to give me a moment on this throw. You got to give me a moment. I mean, look at this. Okay, good job by Malik catching that. It's absurd throw. Absurd throw. Not bad defense either. 2nd down and 6. This is where you want Will Campbell to ride Dallas Turner all the way up, and he does just that. Really good stuff. And once again, we don't want Dallas to cross face. Good stuff, Will. Okay? So, because Dallas kind of runs himself out of this play, running a QB draw to the inside right here, perfectly blocked across the way. You know, Jayden would tell you in the spot that he needs to score right here. Still, that's a good run. That is such a good run. I mean, it's just absurdity. Absolutely absurdity. So now here we go. We're in 14 personnel, okay? We made a little bit of a switch here personnel-wise. Kamarion Pimpton had been one of the blocking tight ends in this situation. Giovanni Peterson, who got the walk-on scholarship earlier this year, is now our end, or one of our tight ends in 14 personnel, so 4 tight ends, 1 running back. Low snap again. It's crazy at this point, okay? Everything's just stuffed. That's why I don't like 14 all that much, okay? But Josh gets creative, and, man, that is crazy. Absolutely crazy. This should have been stopped for a huge loss. Josh Williams, the legendary runs versus Alabama. It goes hand in hand. Okay, that's a great, great goal line run, and he's able to scamper on in for the tutty. Good stuff, Josh. All right, so this will sound like a really scorching hot take. We need one stop at this point. Everything has gone according to plan, right? You do the opening kickoff, you defer to the second half, and you get the first drive of the second half, and you score, okay? We just need one stop, all right? 3rd and 1. This is my issue, okay? When they are like this, who cares who's lining up where? Let's just get lined the frick up. We have a bunch of individuals who do not play together as a defense, right? And look, we're all out of sorts. All out of sorts, okay? And normally, I'm not a huge fan of this kind of like trap kind of play, okay? So because we weren't lined up, in this spot, we want you peeling your ears back and just attacking. Play downhill. Play fast from the second level. And just swoop on in there and do something. All of us are on our heels. Only 2 people are really firing off the football right here. This is not a time to catch and react. And even if we are catching and react, I don't know how we lose contain on this, right? The corner's job is to fill out here. It just depends on the play design or the play call. And we lose the contain responsibility. We get caught in the traffic. Burns gets caught in the traffic. 81 gets a really nice block right here on Major Burns. And guess what? Miller has the sideline. If he can get through here a little bit cleaner, he's out of bounds right here. He might have been gone. So good job by Toviano sticking with it. But, man, that is just discouraging on 3rd and 1. You know what they're going to do? This is an awful call. It is an awful, awful, awful call, okay? So what I would have done if I was in the booth with Matt House, or if I'm on the field with Matt House, I would have told him this. We cannot, versus Milroe, just traditionally rush 4, okay? We don't do a good enough job staying in our pass rush lane, and we are also just taking ourselves out of plays, okay? Now, what I would have told Womack here, I understand, you're coming off the bench and you're trying to, get in here and make a play. These tackles know this, okay? They know to just push you up and give Milroe a lane to run through, okay? Both our ends, once again, past the quarterback. If Milroe wanted to throw to Nyblack right here, he's probably also catching and getting a first down. So, yeah, actually, that would have been 59, so I would have been pushing it. But still, we want a sack here, okay? So what I wouldn't have done is just traditionally rush 4 because we've not been able to stop them. That should have been the first adjustment made at half, okay? But we take ourselves out of the play. Again, we have no second-level guy. Now, what I mean by second level, let's just say Shand was twisting around, or we had a backer blitzing. That would give us a faster player, just someone else here who can get the second wave of pressure and bring him down. But no, okay? Another thing about taking yourself out of the play is it's now him running versus only 9 defenders, okay? Because there's no way you're ever making a play back here, all right? So that's just way too easy, okay? He had a few different cuts he could have made, and now it's going to take Greg Penn doing something superhuman. Of course, Sage Ryan is very late to react on this. I understand he's in coverage, so it's not his fault. But once again, it's Sage slipped a little bit there. It's tough for him to change directions and make a play here anyway. God, it's just a backbreaker, and it's so unfreaking believably frustrating that it's just that over and over and over and over and over again. And I see Scott Woodward. He's like, what am I supposed to do here? All right, 2nd and 2. I know this is going to sound like a minor win, and it sounds like I'm joking. I'm preferring their running backs run at this point, okay? I like the fact that we do a corner blitz. I love corner blitzes. I do. I would have loved to have seen that a little bit more on passing downs. And just force Milroe to actually throw the ball to his actual receivers. Now, where's the mistake made? It's right up the middle. Okay, once again, we don't do anything well defensively. All right, 3 interior players, and we have 2 guys up front, so a 5-2 look right here. All right, watch Jordan Jefferson get absolutely mollywopped. That's tough, right? So at West Virginia, Jefferson was a little bit more of like a gap shooter, okay? Not really a guy to hold the point of attack, and that is a lot. Guillory getting blocked. Like we mentioned, Savion Jones, he rarely sheds blocks and makes plays, and that's just so easy. And then, we get a missed tackle there from Omar Spates. It's an issue. It's an issue, okay? Still, I prefer that than Milroe scrambling. Seal to the inside that easy. There's nothing you could do. Once again, Harold Perkins is here to make this play, and, well, just a whiff, right? It's not just a whiff. It's you didn't even slow him down. He didn't even break stride. And, Andre Sam, it's just so tough of an angle to even make a play. And he actually did end up tripping him up, but it's after a tutty. And you'll see it here. Who was the DT in this spot? I think this is Guillory and Jefferson here, yeah. And this really wasn't that much of a double. Okay, at this point, now once again, Guillory's kind of getting bashed into you because it's kind of tough. We need you shedding and getting over here. It is clear this is where the hole is, okay? But still, we got a guy here to fill it, all right? A special athlete to fill it. Tackle has just got to be made. And I don't know what this is. I mean, what is this from Perk? I mean, ducking his head down and bringing the forearm like this? I don't know what to tell y'all, man. I really, really, really don't. I'll post a few thoughts on Patreon about what I think's going on, but I'll keep some thoughts here to myself for right now. All right, so we'll get back to Jayden here. I mean, this is hot sizzle, baby, and one mixtape tour level ankle breaker. I just can't get over how tough of a game this was for Will. I think right here he thought Deli was going to help him out to the inside. 92 takes the inside angle, and Will just kind of lets him go. But let's first break down the ankle breaker. I mean, this is just nasty, nasty stuff, Jayden. Are you freaking kidding me? I understand we lost, but let's celebrate that. Oh! I didn't know there was a sniper in Bryant Denny. Ankle. Oh, God. I mean, that is so gross. That is so gross. Okay? And there's Dallas Turner. Bang. But look at where Dallas Turner ran from to make this play. All right? We'll talk about the hit a little bit later. But this is amazing hustle to get back into this play. My only thing here is we kind of just gave up on this. I think Will normally or Deli would be looking for someone else to block, and we just kind of let Jayden go. Maybe if we could peel back and look to get a piece of Dallas Turner right here, Jayden might still be running here. That's why with Jayden, you really can't ever just give up on a play because you never know which way he's going to go. What a run. All right, so we get to this 1st and 10. We get the split zone stuff going. Okay, Jayden's killing him with the legs. Let's get to the play that's been probably, EPA-wise, one of the best plays. That ball was behind Mason Taylor. What a freaking catch. And now we need him to make somebody miss. And, well, he can't. Downs is a good player, so he makes a good play. All right, so now we get to the 2nd and 7, and it's Will again. They call him on a holding right here. Is this holding? Yes. They're going to get you on the jersey tug almost every time. So Jayden spins out, stops, steps up through this. Imagine if the holding wasn't called. How ridiculous this actually is right here from JD5. And now he's looking back at 92. Once again, you think you have the angle, you don't. And, if Will doesn't hold him right here, we are, we get robbed of another major Heisman moment, okay? Now it's 2nd and 17, and unlike us, they made adjustments to stopping Jayden's running ability, okay? They run a little twist, okay? And this is what I love about twists. You get, the second level. So 96 can stop and cut back if he wants to, and he's able to play contain and at the same time keep him in the pocket. This is how it's supposed to look, okay? So in theory, could Jayden have taken off and run? Sure, this does eventually open up. Will gets away with another hold right here, okay? And you'll see it right there, all right? Still, the play right here is Jayden stepping up and then eventually finding Mason Taylor. Now, did Mason get spooked a little bit because it looked like at first Jayden was just going to tuck and run? Maybe so. Yeah, there's just now I'm just trying to think of reasons why Mason dropped this. It's a big drop. It's a big, big, big drop. It's kind of awkward because 17 is coming from this direction. Does Mason actually pick up this first down? If he catches it cleanly and gets upfield, probably so. All right, so now we get to 3rd and 17, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's impossible for me to see if anything was open deep. You could make the case here that you want Jayden just to hold on to it and just wait for something else to open up, because if we're throwing this here, there's no way that this is getting picked up. Right? So you kind of just want Jayden to tuck and run and us just live with the results. But I also get just taking a check down and living to fight another set of downs. All right, so we punt the football back. Wasn't the best punt in the world, but we get to here, okay? Just a tough day again for Sage, right? We want to play off of them. We want to force them to drive the football down the field, okay? Once again, we need you driving down, okay? As you can see, this is Milroe's first read, okay? I hate it that the throws that he did make were a lot of just first read throws. And we just need Sage to make a play. For once, make a play, okay? And not only does he not make the play, all right? All right, so do you remember earlier I was talking about, just our situational awareness just is not the absolute best. And I showed how Alabama does a really good job in situations. Okay, this is 1st and 10. Okay, let's just corral them and make a tackle. Now, one thing I think LSU's defense doesn't do a great job of is understanding one simple concept. If I could go in there and just say one thing to them, is that it's not always you that is going to make a play, right? Sometimes you need to do something to let someone else make a play, all right? I feel like LSU is a collection of individuals who all want to go make a play, but they don't understand that sometimes a play is not for you to make. Okay, so Burton is cutting to the inside. You have to know you are the furthest, most outside guy. Okay, you've got 3 guys to your inside right here that very well could make the tackle. If you just don't let him cut back here, he's cooked. He can't go anywhere. And we know Burton does not like contact unless he's the one hitting defenseless fans running on through the field. So now Burton is able to cut back, and that makes it harder for him to make a play. And then you don't end up making a play. Nobody ends up getting a hit on him, okay? And we really did not hit them a whole lot, right? A lot of their plays ended up with them running into the end zone or just out of bounds. Yeah, I don't get this. This has not worked. Saban Jones has just not been a really great player for LSU this year. He's so far off the ball, right? So far off the ball. None of that makes sense to me. None of it makes sense, okay? And, we're getting displaced all the way out here to, Covington, and there's just nothing, right? This double on Mason is just vicious. He's displaced. One-on-one right here. I mean, they're just eating us alive right here. And he's able to squeeze through. And guess what? We need Omar Speights to make a tackle. And it's finally made after an extra 10 yards of him dragging him. All right, so still, extended red zone. Let's see if we can make a play here. All right, once again, same thing. Don't know why we keep doing it. Doesn't work. Doesn't matter who we hire. We're still going to keep doing it. No one getting off blocks, okay? But I do like that we're blitzing. All right, it's a short pattern. Once again, it's a first read throw. He is staring down this player the entire time, okay? We're in man coverage out here, okay? Sage, we just need you to step up here and make a play, okay? The funny thing is because he stared him down, this is obviously, a big problem that Jayden had last year. Jayden would wait for the guy to be wide open. This ball needs to be out already. So you'll see it's kind of a weird throwing motion. I don't think he really even threw it all that hard. It's just playing soft pitch and catch. I think right here, if Sage just plays the football here, he's picking this off, right? Or at least making this bang-bang. If he's actually looking at the football, you see Bond, because the ball wasn't really that hard of a throw, he's able to work back to the football, and we need Sage to make a play, and he's grabbing air, okay? This was all spring game, all season, and once again, a play that should only go 5 yards goes 15. 20, 25, 30, 35, 50, whatever. It's not good. But here's a good thing. It's still the red zone. Let's force him to execute in the red zone, okay? So what do we want to do in this situation? We want to make sure Milroe doesn't kill us, okay? So he does just that, all right? Once again, Saban Jones struggling to see the football and just getting off a block, okay? He just kind of loses his own balance right here. I mean, this wasn't any kind of spectacular block. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. So now he's kind of just out of the play. Is this? Well, he might have gotten held here. Let's see. Yeah, if you're gonna do that, flail your arms in here to try and get a call. So he's obviously faking, and now he's got a chance to make a play, him or Greg Penn to make a play. Not happening, okay? They're doing a better job tackling each other, and, of course, he's into the end zone. All right, so we get the football back, and guess what? We got plenty of time to go down there and go tie this game, right? A sign of a good play caller is always saying some things in the bag. We didn't do a whole lot of this, but we showed some versus Army, these stacked Tennessee splits. Now, what is great about these splits is since it widens out the formation here, it gives you a good light box to run on. Okay, so it's 5 people versus R5 with the running back and a quarterback who can run really well. Low-ish snap again, and we get a good run right here by Josh. I mean, Josh was really cooking in this game. Good bounce right there to get into this space, and we get a nice gain on first. Now, That was another low snap. And Charles Turner on the very next play had a snap infraction, okay? And guess what? It ended up being this, okay? We get to the first play of the fourth quarter, okay? I believe the first play of the fourth quarter versus Florida State was a pick. I don't know. I think we've had cursed first plays of fourth quarters. Jahmyr Gibbs had a big play on it last year. It's Dallas Turner just making another play. I mean, the dude is so freaking good. He's dirty, but he's just so freaking good. The ball, bats up in the air. They get a lucky bounce. And I'm going to show you how unbelievably lucky this actually was. We can make a case that he could have worked backside right here, and it would have been open to Kyron. But in my estimation, this is more of a zone beater, and they're in man coverage, and this is more of a man beater, okay? Still, ball gets deflected up in the air, and, the bad luck is beginning to happen, okay? And this is what happens when you don't get stops. It puts so much pressure on your offense to go out there and continuously make plays, and they get a lucky break right there. This is so unbelievably lucky. It goes off his arm and off his helmet. Okay, LSU has had the unluckiest helmet interceptions, last year versus Georgia and now this year versus Alabama. Should we have cut Dallas Turner a little bit more? Or just some in general, maybe. I don't know. It's just ugh. All right, here we go. 3rd and 5, and Harold Perkins. I mean, just a tough game. Okay, it's clear man coverage across the way. All right, you are the contained guy. Don't go to the inside. All right, if they're rolling out to the right, you have got to set this edge. But the first thing he does is he goes to the inside and gives Milroe this edge. Now, he does a good job noticing that Milroe is rolling it out to the right side, and he backs out of it. And as you'll see, this throw is here, okay? Milroe doesn't throw it. And then Milroe also had this if he wanted it, okay? But I do like the adjustment of forcing him to actually make the throws this time. So he makes a huge mistake. 2 different options, one for a touchdown, one for a first down. So we just need Harold Perkins to make this play, and, well, he commits a penalty and he horse collars. Now, is this the worst horse collar I've ever seen? No, and I'll tell you why. It's because it doesn't work both ways, okay? Milroe is face mask. He's pulling Perk by the face mask. So why is it that offensive players are allowed to grab the face mask of the defender, but the defender can't penalize him, right? It only works one way, okay? So, yeah, it is a horse collar, but he was having his face mask grabbed right there, okay? So, yeah, I'd love someone to explain that to me. All right, so they're able to score pretty much on this next play. And once again, it's just our run fits, right? Monica on Patreon asked me about fits, right? I use that word quite a bit. What are fits? Well, it's just staying gap disciplined and fitting the run. How do you fit the gaps? Okay? Mason gets doubled easy, and that kind of cuts off all these defenders right here, and they're pulling these 2 guys around. We obviously need Mason to – it's difficult. You got to scrape over and fight your way back into this play, or at least push this to cause some traffic for these pullers. That's not happening at all, okay? And they're just running just straight up the gut, and it's pretty much an easy tutty, unfortunately. Can't bring them down here, obviously, and they score. All right, so we get to the dirty play. O-line coaches, please correct me on this, okay? Very weird pass set from Will. Okay, you could just see he just kind of, I don't know, just not a good rep, okay? Not a good rep at all. I don't know if he was just expecting a twist and he needs to pick this guy up, and he's letting him go now that he sees the twister. I don't know, but man, just a tough night. I mean, sometimes you have them, you just do. Look at Jayden. I mean, this is, I think, just a sidearm throw to get this out. Okay? Now, we'll take a look at the different angles of the throws. Now, the downside of this is if we had decent protection, we have Malik on 13 again, who he had been burning all freaking night. Okay? Is that pass interference? I don't know. You be the judge. Okay? Face guarding and jumping straight up, I don't know. But if Jayden had time, he's probably leading him for a big throw. Is Dallas Turner, who think he did nothing wrong here, a dirty player? Like, he's already kicking Jayden while he's down. He might have just been tripped. I don't care. Okay. We can get into a debate about the Quentin Ewers game, but my opinion was made after the Ole Miss game. You're looking at some screenshots for yourself. I even tweeted about it last night. Alabama fans calling me names. He's dirty, okay? The bottom line is he is a dirty player. It's okay to admit it, Alabama fans. He's good. I've counted 5 different plays tonight that were truly freaking special that he made, okay? But he's dirty. Full body weight, helmet right under the chin. He knows what he's doing. So they call roughing the passer. You know, in this spot, your helmet is on his jaw right here. Okay? He's driving him directly into the turf. Ref sees it pretty clearly. And sure, we could get into a debate about a clean hit. Is this the dirtiest hit I've ever seen? No. Okay? In fact, the dirtiest hit I've ever seen actually belongs to an LSU player. Okay? So I'll call it like I see it. He's a dirty player. It's all there is to it. So Garrett Nussmeier's in the game, and I don't know how many more plays I can break down. I'm mentally just taxed. Okay, so I might just do a separate Garrett Nussmeier film study, especially if he is going to be, the guy this next week. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a night here. I just can't handle this anymore. Let's call it like it is. Okay. They were the better team. And notice the words I said here was team. Okay? Just from top to bottom, 1 and 2 deep, they're just a better team than us, and it's okay to admit that. Okay? It is just amazing how much of a mess we were in all night offensively. Okay? I'm not even talking about defense. Okay? The defense stinking up the joint. It's not a shock to anyone. Outside of Jayden and Malik and a few other, really good, spots, it was just a mess up front. And in particular, Charles Turner and Will Campbell. I cannot believe, once again, another snap infraction here. I cannot believe I'm stating that Will Campbell played an awful game. Like, I am honestly in utter freaking shock that this game was this tough for Will. Okay, I hate to say it. He's one of my favorite players on this team. He's one of the best players on this team. One of the 5 best players on this team. He's never had just an awful game ever. Like, even last year, he never had just an awful game. This was bad. I don't know. I don't know what happens, right? And trust me, I never like to say any player is bad. It makes me feel uncomfortable. But man, it was jarring, absolutely jarring. I am shocked by it, but I said last week that going on the road with the crowd noise, because last year obviously, Will only got beat by Will Anderson, I think, one time for a bad sack, and we scored on the very next play. We see how big of a difference it is playing at home and on the road, right? Our offensive line performances on the road have been very shaky this year, just in general. So, yeah, I mean, tough night for our guys up front. But obviously, the story here is the defense. So we'll get to Jayden in just a second. And one thing I strongly disagree with here with Brian Kelly. Okay, defensively, this is an utter mess of a situation, right? First off, we got to talk about the Toviano situation, right? He was not bad. Now, he wasn't great. There were run-filling issues. The first touchdown was on him. But like I always say, with true freshmen, I'm always going to have a lot more leeway in any type of commentary that I give. He was good. I mean, for the most part, the receivers did not hurt us by any stretch of the imagination. It was all Milroe's runs, okay? And it was just run after run after run after run after run. And I don't quite understand why. We broke down so many different reasons as to why. But, it's bad, right? I don't think you can keep Matt House around after this year. I don't think this is totally on Matt House. We have a lot of guys, at least on this third down, we forced him to throw to a receiver, and that is Toviano, the one actually, getting beat right there. But, yeah, I mean, I'll say this. Toviano was better than Denver Harris at any point of this season. Still, man, defensively, it's a nightmare, right? And I won't get into all the specifics because you guys have just seen it all. But Matt House will not survive, nor will a good chunk of this defensive staff. And I hate to say it, I really do, because Matt House had one of the all-time best defensive called games in the Alabama game last year, giving Bryce Young his only less than 50-yard completion percentage game. Once again, here's Jalen Milroe picking up another third down with his legs, juking us out of our shoes. You guys have seen it all today. Now, we get to this.
He was good tonight. He wasn't great. He would like to be considered great every week. He was good. He was good. He was really good. And he's tough. The runs that he had tonight were outstanding runs that kept drives alive. I mean, if he's not out there, we're not even in the game.
All right, so I normally agree with what Brian Kelly has to say after games, and he did acknowledge how difficult it is to get to the podium watching a game without actually getting to watch the film, okay? But calling Jayden Daniels good is doing him a disservice. Calling him great is even doing what he did a disservice. That was an all-time legendary quarterback performance by Jayden Daniels. And I know what a lot of you are going to say, well, he didn't win. Well, what if I ask you this, okay? If you were to guess who had the better QBR in their game versus Alabama on the road, would you say it was Joe Burrow in 2019? Or would you say it was Jayden Daniels in 2023? And as you see here, it was Jayden slightly, okay? So 100's a perfect score. Joe was at 97.2, and I think Jayden was at 97.6. That lets you know, and you remember how good Joe was versus Alabama, how transcendent Jayden was in this game. And the issue for Jayden is he had one other player match him on his level of play, and that was Malik freaking Neighbors. And one other thing for Malik's legacy, he is now firmly, for me, on the Mount Rushmore, the greatest LSU receivers of the modern era. Only the second receiver to have two 1,000-yard seasons at LSU. Doing what he did last year to now doing what he's doing now, he's probably winning the Biletnikoff in most seasons. It's going to be hard for him to beat Harrison because, well, Harrison's a big name and he plays for Ohio State. But, man, it's – and Harrison's great. You can't really go wrong with either. But goodness freaking gracious, Malik was so good. So Jayden and Malik, they are goated. They are legends. Even though they'll never play in a playoff game or anything like that, holy freaking crap. They were so unbelievably good in this game. So, just blown away with what those two accomplished. It's just, Joe, when he pulled this off a few years ago, he had other players on the team reach his transcendent level of play that he had for the entire rest of the year, right? So, yeah, Patrick Queen step up, get that big pick. Yeah, Clyde Edwards-Helaire had the best game of his life. There were so many other people that stepped up and reached that level of play, and well, we just didn't have enough of that, and it's so hard to beat Alabama in their house. It's hard to beat Alabama, period, right? And look, I'll end on this, right? Because this is something that I strongly disagree with the future of college football. I do not like that the playoff is going to expand to 12. If for some reason we have to play Alabama every year, the expansion to 12 is going to help us mightily because these guys just dominate us. There's just no other way around it, right? You take a look at our last 3 victories. It's by 3, 5, and 1, okay? They have constantly beat us, okay? And the expanded playoff is going to give us a little extra leeway, as it would with, this year's team, right? If we were to win out, maybe, you could sneak in. I doubt it, though, even with 12, with the way this defense is. So, still, that is, some kind of light at the end of the tunnel. But as you can clearly see, when it comes to recruiting, development, coaching, we're still a ways away. And we've got to keep grinding. We got to keep better. And I believe in Brian Kelly, and I believe he will make the changes necessary for us to get to this point. And, obviously, we don't know what the future of Jayden Daniels holds for this season, but we'll see what Nuts could do. It is Power Hour LSU. Bam! So comment below if you would like to see a Garrett Nussmeier breakdown. And tonight we are doing, it's gumbo season. Let's go. Even in pain, I'm trying to be positive. Let's go.